Here I come!
Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and it will be continued. 4 games of the Milwaukee Brewers, 2 in Milwaukee, and now 2 more beginning tonight at Kauffman Stadium. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. All right, Hud, over the past few weeks, there's been a few games where we thought, okay, is this the game that gets the Royals going offensively? They scored 8 on a Friday at Wrigley Field. A week ago tonight, they scored 7 at Minnesota. Never really got going after that. But now back-to-back big games in Milwaukee. Does that have greater meaning?
It sure does, Rhino, especially 30 hits combined. Same city, same ball club. Believe it, it's contagious. Everything in baseball is contagious. But they're hunting their pitch, and they're not missing it. Impressive numbers. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, 15 runs on 30 hits. Another thing, too, the Royals are getting back to being a balanced offense. First game, 8 of 9 starters had a hit. 10 different guys had hits last night. The Royals have also done a good job of holding down Ryan Braun, Adam Lynn, and Aramis Ramirez. Ned Yost keeps saying, Hud, that the guys are seeing the ball. What does that mean specifically? Well, seeing the ball means that you're able to see the release point. You're able to pick up your pitch. You're seeing the ball up very well when you're going good. When you're not, the typical answer is, I'm not seeing the ball, but they are. And what's happening now is we're seeing them get back to their game. That is running the bases, going first to third, pressuring defenses. And when you sprinkle in a long ball once in a while, that can't hurt at all. Boy, the Royals have had great luck this year with non-roster guys from spring training. Franklin Morales, Ryan Madson, and tonight's starter, Joe Blanton. Joel and Monty are coming up next.
Mike Fiers, 3-6 on the season. Warming up, he has never faced the Royals before. He is a strikeout guy. He will try to give the Brewers some kind of hope. Chris Young did more than that last night. Our Honda most trusted player, Chris Young, 7 shutout innings, also had a pair of hits and 3 RBIs. He's the first American League pitcher to have 7 or more shutout innings while knocking in 3 or more RBIs. The last one to do it, Dave McNally for the Orioles in 1972. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery back here in left field. Monty, how would you rank that performance last night for Chris Young as far as performances for the Royals this year?
Well, I think if you add up everything he did with the bat and the 7 innings of shutout baseball on the mound, I mean, that stacks up there with the best because the contribution he made overall and the difference he made in that game last night.
Well, he said he didn't take batting practice or go to the cage all week long. He said he thought he had a better chance of getting injured than improving himself at the plate. And then asked about his performance, he deflected and credited his teammates.
The first hit, for example, happened because Alex Gordon went first to third, drew a throw to third base, Omar advanced on the throw to second. Otherwise, I'm up there bunting in that situation. So it's just an example of how we play the game where other teams might not make the same aggressive base running, and it leads to 2 runs.
A very humble Chris Young, the veteran, got the job done last night. Tonight, another veteran trying to get it done. Joe Blanton takes the hill, first pitch coming up.
Royals baseball is brought to you by AT UVerse high-speed internet. The UVerse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your local Kansas City Chevy dealers. Come visit for great prices on all the new 2015 Chevy vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And with that, here we go. Joe Blanton making his first big league start in 2 seasons.
He's going to stay
on 1 pitch. He has 1 out. Gerardo Parra popping out to Mike Moustakas. The Milwaukee Brewers last year spent 150 days in first place. They did not finish in first place, and now a year later they've changed managers and they've spent 69 days in last place.
You know, you kind of wonder, how could it all go wrong so fast? Sometimes baseball, you can't answer all that, but it is what it is, and the Royals are happy Milwaukee's in town. Brewers are going to see a fastball. He's going to sink that fastball. 88 to 93, slider, changeup. Might mix in a couple of slow boy curves, but I don't think so. He's mainly fastball, sinker, slider, and change.
A slow boy curve?
Got that from Greg Holland.
Explain.
Well,
like, kind of like an ephus
yeah,
curve?
like we're going to see Holland more times he gets out there throw a curve at 75 miles an hour. That's called a slow boy, and that really can throw you off. Now we'll see their guy tonight. The Royals will. Fires. He throws a slow boy curve.
It's not easy to say.
Sorry.
I think I'm just going to stick with a slow curve.
That's good. I'm a little bit fast tonight.
Still 0-2 on Jonathan Lucroy. So Kia puts us in the driver's seat. We take a look at Joe Blanton, a 1.8 ERA, pitching out of the bullpen, 7 relief outings, and he started the year at AAA Omaha. Was out of baseball last year and signed a minor league deal with the Royals in spring training. One of his trademark pitches is his changeup, and he gets Lucroy for the second out.
It's got a beauty. He's not going to pitch any differently now that he's a starter than he would as he was coming out of the bullpen. Get ahead with a sinking fastball, finish him off with a good changeup, throw strikes. He's a veteran, like you mentioned, Rhino, and he's never been in better shape. He's strong. He's determined. He wants to pitch a few more years.
2 down to Ryan Braun, and as we showed you at the top of the broadcast, the Royals, you know, they got into a mess here or there in Milwaukee, but when Braun, Lind, and Ramirez, who was batting 5th, came up with runners in scoring position, and that's the middle of the order, those 3 hitters were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position in Milwaukee. There's Lind. He will bat 4th again tonight. Carlos Gomez will bat 5th, and then Ramirez will hit 6th. Good breaking ball over the outside. So Joe Blanton is right on top of his game here in the first.
Every time he gets a chance to toe the slab in a big league field, he's pitching with a sense of urgency. And that's because he wasn't having any fun last time he left, and now he's saying, you know what, I got with a team here that's got a chance, and I want to be a part of that. Defense sponsored by Ford. Highlighted Salvador Perez. Why not? This guy's got more votes than any other person on the planet.
Tied him up.
Oh, isn't that a beautiful?
Let it roll.
Yeah.
Foul ball.
Boy, you're going good when you get a knock like that. So since he didn't get a knock, he's not going good.
Well, there are people frustrated all across the country with how the Royals have fared in the All-Star voting, and thanks to you fans, that's why the Royals are where they are. So keep voting.
That's right. I've gotten a couple of unkind texts from some of my friends that live in different parts of the country, and I said, last I checked, you could still vote. Vote your guy in.
2-2 on Ryan Braun. Very few Brewers have much experience against Joe Blanton. Braun has the most at bats, 13. And Blanton's had him reaching and off balance on just about every swing.
Don't you like the action you're seeing from Blanton tonight? Boy, that's crisp. Everything's below the knees. So if there's any contact made, he's going to let that defense take over. He's smart.
Still 2-2. Trying to climb the ladder on him. Fastball coming in at 93. Joe Blanton's best year was 06. He won 16 games for the Oakland A's. He has had 4 big league seasons with at least 12 wins. Is that a slow boy curve, 79, or does it have to be slower than that?
No, it's got to be slower. 75 or under is a slow boy, but he thought he had it.
Look at how he stayed out of the middle of the strike zone on Fox tracks there. Everything right on the outer edge. Top, bottom, left, right. And he strikes out Braun. So a good start for Blanton. A frustrating start for the Brewers. 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts.
Ooh, that stuff looks filthy.
Tied and perhaps surpassed Whitey Herzog in this series against the first team Ned managed for. 1 more to tie, 2 to pass for the most wins in Royals history. And here's his batting order as Alcides Escobar and Mike Moustakas encourage one another before the bottom of the first begins. Starting lineup presented by State Farm. Good to see Kendrys Morales back in the starting lineup.
Sure does. Makes that lineup a lot deeper. You got to push Salvion down there. He's hitting that 7th hole. Makes him tough.
Tell us about Mike Fiers.
Mike Fiers, not going to be an overpowering guy. He's going to have to work that sinking fastball. He's got a little bit of sink to it. 88 to 90.
And we may see a lot of that. He is very similar to Chris Young in that he pitches effectively up in the strike zone, and on one pitch he gets a pop-up from Alcides Escobar.
And he might remind you of Tim Lincecum with that windup he's got. He's got that big arm swing and his big leg kick, and there's some deception there. So he's not overpowering. We show you their defense here. They're off. Well, they're not a very good defensive team either.
There was a clear difference in Milwaukee, numbers or not, between the Royals and the Brewers on defense. Mike Moustakas with a shift showing bunt. Now Ramirez was playing in near the edge of the grass, so he would be in position to field a less than perfect bunt, and now he backs off with 1 strike. It seems that what teams are doing, and not just the Royals but all teams, if you have a left-hand batter up there who's not a speed guy, if he doesn't bunt and put it down with 1 strike, they figure he's not going to bunt at all. And most teams will adjust accordingly after a guy like Mike Moustakas or say big Matt Adams with the St. Louis Cardinals. If they're trying to beat the ship with 1 strike, everyone assumes, okay, he's not going to bunt now. Then they go to more traditional defensive alignment.
I'd like to see a team play all their infielders on the left side against Moustakas one time. Make him pull it. But really what this whole thing has done, as Milwaukee continues to play him to pull like this, it just makes Moose a better hitter. He's letting the ball get in close to the catcher's glove, and it's opening up the whole field for him.
Big slow curve. There's 72.
That's a slow boy.
Okay.
And that'll mess your timing up. All right, on your left is Lincecum. On your right is Fires. Look at how they both draw back. Fires has a little bit higher arm swing, but both of them hold the ball down low before they deliver. A lot of arms and legs.
Down and into Lorenzo Cain, who homered in both games in Milwaukee, and now he's hit in 7 straight. And admitted after the game last night that it was a little sweeter doing that against his former team. That's hit well to center field, but right at Parra. So Fires has a 1-2-3 first inning to match Joe Blanton.
Legendary scout Art Stewart, and he was there at the draft along with Johnny Damon, and the Royals completed their draft and selected right-handed pitcher Ash Russell with their first pick. High school kid out of Indianapolis. He signed today. He is here getting ready to begin his professional career. Ash, congratulations. What has this last week been like for you?
This last week it's been extremely exciting. Thanks for the congratulations, but it's been exciting. It's definitely been a dream come true for sure, especially today. Getting out here, this is the first time at the park. Besides, I got to visit it a little bit yesterday. But it's a blessing, honestly, and I don't know what else to say, but it's an honor and a blessing.
Well, we see some quick defense there, and that's something that you'll get to learn real quickly with this Royals team. I think it's interesting. I mean, we just saw Eric Hosmer make that play there. I remember when he was drafted in 08. The Royals weren't very good then. But here you are drafted by the defending American League champions. How much did you watch their World Series last year?
I definitely tuned in to every game. I tuned in to just MLB Network as they were playing throughout the playoffs. Never grew up watching the Royals, but the past couple of months I've really been paying attention. I'm more than excited to be a part of the program, part of this club. Yeah, extremely excited.
Okay, tell us about your game. I know that in your press conference earlier today, you were sharing kind of the scouting report at 6'4". Tell us about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a big body. I've been compared to Clay Buchholz and Justin Verlander quite a bit. I don't know. I have swing and miss stuff is what I hear. My fastball has a lot of run on it. My slider is what apparently every scout loves. I have to do some work on a changeup, and I think if I develop that, I could become a high-end starter guy.
And I joked with you real quickly in the news conference because you got a lot of, I don't know if it was grief, but you were wearing this like bright red shirt, and now you got the blue bow tie. Nice change of colors, by the way. Is that your personality? Tell us about your personality.
Yeah, pretty open guy, pretty free guy. I like to be different, I guess. I like to stand out, not in a narcissistic way, but I like I like to be free, I guess, and I let my mom and myself pick out my outfit for last week. And this week, I was kind of against the bow tie, but she convinced me to put it on, and I thought it looked good, so here we are.
I think it's a good look. Now, can you show us the hair for the fans at home? They said, though, when this happened, you were putting the hat on. They said, you get it all in there. There's a lot of it, right?
Yeah. That's what people call it back home, so yeah. But there's quite a bit of hair. Hopefully I can keep growing it out.
What's amazing is that you get drafted out of a high school in Indianapolis, and then the Royals' next pick in the first round was a guy that you know very well, and Nolan Watson. Tell me what you know about him, what your history with him is.
Me and Nolan have become friends over the past 2 to 3 years due to the rivalry between my high school and his. Very competitive teams. We were #1 in the state this year. He was #2. His team. They eventually took it from us, moved into the #1 spot. But the rivalry has definitely built a friendship between us and a lot of competitive nature between us. But it's brought us closer, and I think this is going to bring us closer than ever, and hopefully we can grow and develop in this program.
Have you guys, I'm sure you've talked, I mean, probably right away when it happened, but have you discussed at all what it might be like? 2 kids that were rivals now coming up in the same system?
We've discussed it. We're very excited. We think it's the best thing that possibly could have worked out. 2 first-rounders from the same township, same friends. We know the same people, been around the same area, so I think that's going to make the adapting to pro ball and being away from home for the first time a lot easier than what it would be if we didn't know each other, or if I didn't know anyone, or he didn't know anyone.
Well, as a pitcher, I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing the veteran Joe Blanton getting the ground out with a runner on second base, so he'll try to work himself out of this. Final question for you, what now happens going forward? This should happen pretty quickly, right?
I hope so. I take off for Arizona to start to adapt to pro ball for 10 to 14 days. Got to throw some bullpens, got to get some work in down there. But after that, I take off for North Carolina to start my professional career, I guess, with the Burlington Royals. So very excited.
Well, we wish you best of luck, and also representing your family, Indiana. For your time, we'll put it that way. Our former broadcast partner, Paul Splittorff, was born in the state and was drafted their all-time wins leader. So, Ash, congratulations. We're looking.
Very much, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Joel. Well, he was a delight to listen to. You know, I mean, it came across as very sincere. You know, I mean, there's the hair that Joel was talking about.
Man, look at his size. I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to see some downhill angle from him.
Nice belt. That's a solid. That's the best first-round pick belt I've seen.
You know, man, nothing against the high school I went to back in Fresno, Bullard High School. But, man, I need to go to Cathedral Catholic High School where he went, man. He sounded well educated. Uh-oh, Tester.
Oh. Kane giving it everything he had and just missed it. And Scooter Gennett will scoot to third. And he has an RBI triple. And for the first time in the 3 games between the Royals and the Brewers, Milwaukee has a lead.
The word got around in that Brewers dugout about Blanton, and after that first inning he looked really good, but now he's up and out over the middle of the plate, and Scooter took it for a ride. Lorenzo had a great break on it. He just missed. A nice effort, got to his feet quickly, but Gannett can run.
So a 1-out double and a 2-out triple, and now Gene Segura, for good reason, because you really can't afford to say the wrong thing these days. It'll be all over the internet. But players are coached now. Make sure you say the right thing, you know, be complimentary. But while Ash Russell did that, it just came across as very genuine and sincere, very uncoached, didn't it?
I was extremely impressed with him, the way he carried himself, his knowledge. He dropped a narcissistic.
Yeah. Have you looked that up yet?
I have. It means you're into yourself.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Let's take a look at the 2 pitches that Blanton missed on. Or did he miss? Absolutely. That ball was up in the zone, drove it the opposite way, and this is right down the middle of the plate. Saw that first inning how Blanton was on every corner. And if you're not on the corners, the hitters will let you know.
Off speed struck him out, so that's 3 for Blanton in 2 innings. The Brewers get a couple of extra base hits and take the first lead. And another big crowd here tonight. Fans continue to pack Kauffman Stadium. They're on pace to establish a new team record for attendance. And packing the ballpark. It won't be a sellout tonight, but still a Wednesday night with a last place team in town. And there are very few empty sections. 0-2 from Mike Fiers to Eric Hosmer. There you go. Royals averaging over 31,000 per home game, 5th in the American League.
Now he's going to throw that slow boy curve all the time. First time, second time, third time through. That's part of his repertoire. He's got a slider 84 to 86 that he calls a cutter, but it has a little more slider depth to it, so it has a little bit bigger break than a cutter does. And he's got a crossfire delivery.
And as you pointed out, and that fastball is at 89. He is a strikeout pitcher, and there are very few strikeout pitchers who average 89 to 90 with their fastball. He doesn't really have overpowering stuff, but maybe overwhelming stuff at times.
That's the importance of deception. When you can get that hitter off your release point, you can't pick it up. It goes back to the open of our show. We talked about, are you seeing it? If you're not seeing the ball very well, you're not hitting very well. And a lot of pitchers that are smart, that don't have overpowering stuff, will use their windup and their delivery as part of their arsenal.
Good pitch and a good take by Hosmer. I think that's exactly where Fiers wanted it. 2-2.
So he starts out with that glove wide open, so you can't detect anything from him as far as him tipping his pitches at all.
Base hit into right center field. So Hosmer got a hittable pitch. Takes an aggressive turn at first. And he's on to begin the second inning. Well, as you know, the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star voting is well underway, and Royals fans are coming out in force. It's becoming a national story, and the Royals are just filling up the starting spots. And as the other cities react to that, keep on voting. Voting ends on July 2nd, so that's just right around the corner. Remember, you can vote up to 35 times. And you can log on at Royals.com/vote. And the All-Star game is coming up on July 14th on Fox in Cincinnati.
Okay, Miguel Cabrera, first baseman for the Detroit Tigers, is right on Haas's trail, folks. Let's put a star on Haas and vote him in. Come on, let's keep it up.
Just foul. Adam Lind was right on the line. Look at the names Eric Hosmer's in front of. Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, Mark Teixeira, Albert Pujols. Three of those guys are MVPs.
I would say Hosmer has the better glove out of all those guys. Teixeira, former Gold Glove winner. Look at that.
Going the other way and beating the shift. So 2 on, nobody out right after the Brewers scored in the top half of this inning. Our T-Mobile game changers. It's been Mike Moustakas all year. Salvador Perez is warming up. Lorenzo Cain is warming up. Alex Gordon is warming up. So Cain, a 7-game hitting streak. Salvador Perez has 4 home runs in his last 9 games. And Alex Gordon, 5 RBIs, 5 walks, and hitting about .350 during his 7-game hitting streak.
Yeah, you like all the runs batted in.
You know, Ned Yossi said it tongue-in-cheek, but there's some truth to it. You know, he said we do everything as a team. And I think if you follow this team closely, you know that they're a close-knit bunch. But the tongue-in-cheek part was, you know, they all seem to get hot at the same time. They all seem to get cold at the same time. And when the Royals were piling up the runs in April and into May, it was a very balanced attack. They weren't riding on the shoulders of 1 or 2 or 3 guys.
And that's a little bit unusual because the 9 hitters, they're all different. And usually 1 or 2 out of the 9 will at least try to keep some kind of production going. Does that guy look worried to you and nervous? he's so relaxed now. So we've seen a couple of slow boy curveballs to start off this at bat with Gordon. Now, once you've seen that slow big curveball once, and you kind of make a little memory note of that, then the second, third time through, when you see it, if it's up, it can be hit. He tries to keep it down and bury it, but hitters, they'll have some pictures in their mind of that big slow curve. You can see what the rest of the league has been doing with Fiers. He's given up some homers. Righties seem to have hit him a little bit better, but overall he's given up a .284 average.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And another thing, when you break down his numbers, the more critical the situation, the worse he gets. He is at his best with no runners on. He struggles a bit with runners on and struggles even worse with runners in scoring position. And the Royals have 2 on with Hosmer in scoring position and Alex Gordon with his 7-game hitting streak at the plate.
.336 with runners on is Fiers' average.
Lucroy blocks it, but Hosmer got a good read and he'll go to third.
That's another thing that the Royals learned in their scouting report on Fiers. Whenever a guy's got a big slow curve like that, he's going to bounce a few of them. So you have to be ready to take the base. Now Morales, he could have made it to second, but there was a little bit of doubt in his mind. And when in doubt, go ahead and lay out. Just stay where you are.
You know, even if he doesn't bury one, that's a tough pitch for a catcher to receive and throw on if you're going to run.
It's got that overhand spin, and so when it hits the ground, it projects forward even more.
And now Alex walks, and the Royals have the bases loaded with nobody out. In tonight's game, we are participating in the Home Run Challenge. Tonight, every Royals home run raises $12,500 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org, and so far $700,000 has been raised going into today's games. Bases loaded for Salvador Perez, and that curveball is outside. Sal leads the Royals with 10 home runs.
The Royals could do a little better with their average with runners with bases loaded this year. They're only hitting .208. It says in my stats here that Salvi's only come to the plate one time this year with the bases loaded. 0 for 1.
And now Fiers and Lucroy. I think they were banking on Salvi being all fired up with the bases loaded, nobody out, and chasing that first breaking ball out there, and Sal hardly flinched. So now 1 ball and no strikes, and those two got to make sure they're on the same page.
Catchers just don't want to go out. Timing is everything when that catcher makes that visit to the pitcher. And that was a good time, a good break for him. Lucroy with a good visit. See if it pays off.
That'll be out of play. Hosmer singled, Morales singled, and Gordon walked. And when the Royals are right on offense, it always seems like they score right after the opponent scores. And the Brewers just got a run in the top of the second.
Yeah, they got to be able to scratch 1 or 2 across here in this inning.
Oh boy, that's the pitch he was looking for. 1 ball and 2 strikes. How important is Salvador Perez? Well, here's what the numbers will tell you. When the Royals win, he hits .380. When the Royals lose, he hits .159. He also is homered 7 times as opposed to 3. Tied him up. And Ramirez goes into foul ground. That's a big out for Fiers. Bases loaded, 1 down. I think it was the pitch 2 pitches ago. Sal's such a good low ball hitter, good fastball hitter. Got a fastball down and in from Fiers. Put a really good swing on it. Just wasn't able to make contact.
That's a big out for Fiers.
So Alex Rios with the bases loaded and 1 out. Now he's hitting .213, but he went 3 for 9 in the 2 games in Milwaukee.
In his last 2 pitches,
That's his pitch right there.
Yeah, he missed that one, and that was a good spot. Wasn't in the middle of the plate, and then that one there was way in, and he got him to offer at it. Trying to get the Royals to hit his pitch.
Lucroy wanted that. He held it out there for home plate umpire Clint Fagan.
That's a tight slider, 84 to 86. Look close.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, we'll see if those 2 games in Milwaukee get the Royals going as a team offensively on a long run, and we'll see if it gets Rios and Infante going. They both swung the bat well on Monday and Tuesday in Milwaukee.
It's a great opportunity coming up your first time in a game with them loaded in Rios, needing a big hit.
That ball's hit well to right center field, and Braun will make the play, and the Royals do answer. Sac fly for Alex Rios, scoring Eric Hosmer to tie the game at 1.
Nice job of hunting his pitch. The ball was elevated. And Mike Fiers, he'll make some mistakes up in the zone. And it's important they capitalize, and they did. Braun has a good arm and right. Morales did the right thing by not trying to force that and getting thrown out there at third base. That would not have been good. So he did the right thing, staying in scoring position. Now one of the hottest hitters on the team is coming up. See if Infante can keep raising that average up.
He was 5 for 8 in Milwaukee with 2 doubles. And he scored 4 times, and now his objective here is to drive in a run. And a slider that stayed up is taken for strike 1. Now, prior to this 2-game series in Milwaukee, Infante was in a long slump. He was 8 for 70. Adam Lind is going to run out of room. 0-2 on Infante.
Omar has a .271 batting average with runners in scoring position. That's a good number. So he's been coming through when they need him. 0-2. We'll see if Fiers throws him that teaser, that nice slow curve. Outfield arms are pretty good out there. I told you. Braun has 2 outfield assists. Center fielder Parra's got 3.
And that's popped up. Ramirez. Shortstop Segura was wondering if he could play the ricochet off the fans' hands. You know, it's interesting about Infante too. You bring up what he hit with runners in scoring position. You know, last year was just a very odd year for him because most of his offensive numbers were low for his career standards, and yet he had the most RBIs he's ever had in one season. So he didn't get a lot of hits, but the hits that he got oftentimes came with men in scoring position. That's a good number for a career.
It's quality. He's making the best out of it. See if he can do it here. Down to count 0-2.
And Lucroy blocks it, and both runners will move up. So a single, if Infante could poke one to the outfield, could be worth 2 more. And that's the second wild pitch of the inning for Fiers.
Scooter Gennett, the second baseman, he was late getting there to cover. Lucroy, the catcher, he had a shot at Gordon, but you could see the Royals runners advanced, but the second baseman, he didn't move. Good break. Lousy single can really work here.
That's a pitch that Infante was swinging at earlier on this road trip. So getting back to seeing the ball better. Fiers had a very quick first inning, and now he's moving up on a 30-pitch second inning. Off of Ramirez's glove. No play, and the Royals take the lead. So Infante avoids the strikeout. He puts the ball in play, and the Royals lead 2-1.
There's some heads-up base running there. If the runners don't advance on the wild pitch in the dirt, a curveball, that run doesn't happen. So it's nice to see during this time here, the last few games, the Royals starting to get back to the Royal way. That's aggressive base running, taking extra bases, you know, going first to third on singles. This is the Royals and how they win games. You want your third baseman to take all he can, but he just couldn't get up and throw Infante out.
And that pitch stays up. Escobar takes it to right field, and it's a 3-run second inning.
Well, there's a slow boy. See how it hung up there? No, it wasn't. I take that back. That was a fastball that stayed up around the belt. And hitters' eyes light up when they see one elevated like that.
That's a good looking swing,
Boy,
isn't it?
see how he kept his hands inside and just went with it? He didn't roll his hands over at all.
I know we did some games together recently, and that same pitch to Escobar, he was muscling up and trying to pull it. Remember we talked about that when he is really in his zone, he takes that ball to right field.
Yeah, and this all goes back to Milwaukee. 30 hits in 2 games. They're still on it. Like it. They are wearing Fiers down.
And Fiers was very close to allowing just 1 run after the Royals had the bases loaded, nobody out. And now he's given up 3, and here's the 8th batter in the inning. Fiers struck out Moustakas with a curve in the first.
Got a pretty good average with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. The Royals are hitting .273. That's 3rd in the American League.
And now it's 0-2.
Yikes.
Well, they're beginning the 2nd time through, and it gets even uglier 3rd time through. And Craig Counsell is just searching for answers to get this team going. Moustakas almost squirted that up the third base line. Craig Counsell is a Wisconsin native, and at one time his father worked for the Brewers, and he was a Brewers bat boy. Never left Wisconsin as he bounced around several major league teams, and now managing the team that he grew up rooting for. High in the air to the right side, and Scooter Gennett wants it, and that's the inning. The Brewers get 1 in the 2nd. The Royals come back and they get 3 in the 2nd. Bases loaded, nobody out, and all 3 score: Hosmer, Morales, and Gordon. consensus injury report for today after this pitch from Joe Blanton to Shane Peterson. Blanton pitching tonight. The Royals have 2 starters on the disabled list, Jason Vargas, Danny Duffy. Danny pitched today for AAA Omaha, and it sounds like he will have at least 2 more rehab starts, but gave up 1 earned run in 3 2/3 innings, 6 strikeouts, no walks, and before he went on the disabled list was having a little trouble throwing some strikes, which was uncharacteristic of the new Danny Duffy. Jason Vargas also on the DL. He played catch a couple of days ago in Milwaukee. Escobar backhands, jumps, throws, 1 hop, safe. Eric Hosmer immediately turns to the Royals dugout.
Yeah, it's a tough play. Escobar was playing up the middle on that. El Mago, the magician, he's good, but and that's a tough play to make, but he still made it close with that strong throwing arm off balance. He's got extreme throwing skills. Watch it, comes in. I mean, just to catch that ball on a naked bare hand look, he just got soft hands. You could see where his foot got in there.
And by the way, you know, we give him credit, and rightly so, but we'll do it again. How about our guy Bill Duplessis? By the time it took us to get a shot of Don Wakamatsu on the phone, he was already saying no, that Shane Peterson was safe. That's how quick Don Wakamatsu and Ned Yost are able to get answers from the Royals replay command center.
Just because we don't see Billy Duplessis, he's part of that coaching staff, and he is one of the best in the league at that.
Parra fouled out to Moustakas in the first inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Two-seam fastball. You can see it. Love the technology. Like the fact that we can slow that baby down and look at the grips. Gives us a much better idea. Too bad the hitter can't see that.
Morgan Kramer getting us that good tight shot.
Parra's grounded into 3 double plays this year.
By the way, Morgan,
skills.
Always very modest, you know, never gets overexcited about being on camera.
Hey, he's got skills.
Infante, they'll get the out at second, and no double play. So the lead runner is down. 1 away in the 3rd inning. So we just mentioned that Danny Duffy's on the disabled list, Jason Vargas is on the disabled list, and yet our Toyota League leaders shows us that the Royals are back on top in the American League and leading the league in earned run average.
Look at how they're keeping the ball in the yard.
I mean, there are no new ways, are there, to describe what Chris Young has meant to this team? I mean, you and Fizz were on TV last night. Steve Stewart and I were talking about it on radio quite a bit. I mean, where would the Royals be right now? Think about the guys that were not part of the plan going into spring training. Chris Young showed up in the middle of spring training. Joe Blanton starting tonight, non-roster invitee, minor league contract. Ryan Madsen, non-roster invitee, minor league contract. Franklin Morales, I mean, Franklin Morales, you can put them in his last month the way he's been pitching to righties and lefties. Non-roster invitee, minor league contract.
Tell you what, those complimentary ads have been huge. And that goes to show you that Dayton Moore understands, and a lot of the other general managers do, but they just haven't been able to acquire such talent. Depth. You got to have depth. Got to have guys that you're really not counting on, but they are there in case you need them, and they're coming through for Ned. And it's a winning environment. It's the core players that they already had here. They'd already been to the top of the mountain. If you had a veteran like Young and Blanton, who pitched in the World Series and hit a home run in the World Series, these guys have been there.
Lucroy flies to Rios, and they're 2 down. I want to backtrack on something we were just talking about. They timed it in the truck when Peterson was called safe at first base by first base umpire Jeff Nelson, and we took a shot of the dugout. Don Wakamatsu was telling Ned Yost, don't challenge. 9 seconds from the call at first base until Don Wakamatsu was on the phone and telling Ned Yost, don't challenge. 9 seconds.
Teamwork, coaching, all working for one thing. And you know what they call that in this game? Pulling on the same end of the rope. Everybody is on that end. And the end of that rope is W's, wins. Pile them up, stockpile them, kind of like the Royals did in April. And then when they went in their little funk, like every team goes into, they had already banked a bunch of wins. That kind of helped them absorb that slump that they were in.
Snap throw to first. Hosmer keeps that ball out of right field, pulling it out of the dirt.
And he's got soft hands. Rios, he's playing deep and right. That ball might have sent Parr all the way to third base if Haas can't make it, if he can't catch this. See, it was the pitch that was so far away to Salvi's backhand. He went ahead and just leaned into it and fired. His momentum was taking him that way.
Two and one on Braun with Parr at first base.
Braun rarely gets cheated. He takes a full rip. Has power to all fields. Loves playing in Milwaukee at Miller Park. That's a home run hitter's haven. Ball carries well.
Moustakas gets a big bounce, sets his feet. Braun is out, and so are the Brewers right after the Royals got 3 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. So the offense right back to the plate with Kane, Hosmer, and Morales coming up. Tonight's game, and we'll tell you about Ron as the Royals bat in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Ball 1-2, Lorenzo Cain. Ron is a father from Grandview. Was recently named the 2015 Royals Father of the Year. It's an award I think we'd all aspire to win at some time in our lives.
You gotta love that.
It's an essay contest presented by the National Center for Fathering and asks area kids what my father or father figure means to me. And Ron was nominated by his son JP. They have an incredibly close relationship. And Ron wrote, "We love goofing off in stores. We are connoisseurs of onion rings and barbecue. We love dressing alike, and I lovingly call him 2.0, the next and better version of me." Isn't that great?
Congratulations, Ron. That's leaving a legacy.
Lorenzo Cain lined to center in the first inning. And he'll take a leadoff walk. Second walk allowed or issued by Fiers in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, 14th on the year for Lorenzo. He's a swinger. He's not a walker. And that helps you when you take pitches like that.
Well, here's what's coming up on Friday, and it's getting bigger and better every year. The annual Big Slick Celebrity Softball Game prior to the Royals and the Red Sox at 7:10. This year it's going to be on the big field, not at the Little K. They have outgrown the Little K. There's Rob Riggle, Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, David Ketchner, Eric Stonestreet, and all of their Hollywood pals will be here prior to the game on Friday.
I wonder what kind of ball they're going to be playing with. Out there at the Little K, they use that little mush ball. Looked like a little soft, squishy ball they used out there at the Small K. They might use a real hard ball. I don't know. You think? If they're going to play on the big field, they might play with the big boys.
Right. Hosmer got the second inning started with a leadoff single and scored the first of 3 runs. And now he's thinking about dropping one down to take advantage of Ramirez being back on the left side.
He's shaking his head, maybe for a couple of reasons. When you already have a strike on you and then you do that and you pull back and it's a strike, now you're down 0-2. Best time to do that's the first pitch. He might be shaking his head because of that. Or
was that a hittable pitch though? I mean, could he have done much with that pitch?
It's going to roll over into a double play.
Had a good swing at that pitch and drives it to left. Peterson to the track to make the play.
There's an elevated pitch. Haas went with it. That's a pitch you want to do that on, middle away. Just got underneath it. Told you. Fiers is going to leave some hittable pitches up there. The key is not to miss them. Try to put them in play hard somewhere. Maybe they don't find a glove.
So Kendrys Morales with 1 on, 1 out. Joe Lavero just told me that Monty is going to pitch in the Big Slick softball game on Friday. That away, Monty.
Crank it up.
That away. As a starter, Monty, or as the closer? The starter. Okay.
Wow.
A little change of pace for him.
That's right. Bring it early.
Cain runs, and Morales pulls it foul. May or may not have been a hit and run.
Well, if that was a hit and run, that's welcomed. With the kind of speed the Royals have and doing the little things like that, that's part of their identity. It's that small ball mentality that really works for them. You see Lorenzo, he's the top base stealer so far this year on the Royals. And 1 out's the best time to put that hit and run on, because you want to get that runner at first all the way to third if it's successful.
And rolled over to Jeanette. And That's an inning-ending double play. So Fiers works around the leadoff walk and faces only 3 in the 3rd inning. Big crowd watching at Kauffman Stadium. Don't forget, Father's Day is Sunday, and you can still get tickets for our annual Father's Day celebration as you treat Dad to an afternoon here at the ballpark with the Royals and the Red Sox. And the first 10,000 men receive a special edition barbecue apron courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors. And the Royals just completed another very successful Dad's trip. The Royals were 5-2 on the last road trip, with the Dads joining them. Hosmer over to Blanton for the out on Adam Lynn. And there's the total, something that the Royals started in 2013. You bring the Dads along on the road, and the Royals are 15-6, hitting just under .290, scoring 5 runs a game and allowing fewer than 3 runs a game.
Way to go, Dads. You better love it. Last year, when the Dads came along, it came at a perfect time and got those Royals into first place. Beautiful job. Way to hang out with your boys and enjoy it. And you know, that's a wonderful thing the organization does.
Here's Carlos Gomez. He scored the Brewers' run in the 2nd inning. He reached with a 1-out double, and then with 2 down, Scooter Gennett tripled him home. And Carlos Gomez, he just takes nice, easy swings when he comes to the plate.
Kind of like that last time up.
Yeah, here's last time up. Just a just a nice, easy swing. Just using his hands, just trying to put the ball in play.
Not. And you know what? Blanton, he came back inside high and tight, but then he left something out over the middle, and Carlos was able to get it.
Well, we were setting it up, and he just showed you what we were talking about. Okay, first at bat, swing and a miss, helmet comes flying off, and then in this at bat, swing and a miss, helmet comes flying off.
Yeah, they call that guy, a guy who's not getting cheated. He's taking a full rip and found him a knock there.
And he's 2 for 2, second time he's been on with 1 out.
There was a day whenever a hitter would take a swing like that the next ball would be a rib ball. Just you know, a little bit of ego with the pitcher saying, you're going to swing on me like that? But the game has changed so much now that Blanton, although did the next pitch throw him up and in, backed his feet off after he took a swing like that.
Aramis Ramirez with 1 on 1 out. Blanton is moving up on 60 pitches. Nobody's warming up in the Royals bullpen, but got a couple of guys out there just starting to move around and stretch their arms out, stretch their legs out. Brandon Finnegan stretching out his arms. Franklin Morales stretching out his legs.
Well, they figured that Joe Blanton could go 75, 80 pitches depending on the situation, how the game's been going. And could be an opportunity for Finnegan to get into a game if Blanton, once he runs out of his pitches.
Moustakas, nice play, out at second. Double play.
That'll save the pitch count. Roll him up. Nice turn by Infante. Wow, he's getting that ball out of his glove quickly. Throwing it across the diamond. That's what made it. Moose ranging far to his left. Overhand throw. Made it straight. Good stretch at first. Out.
Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jeep. Come discover great deals during the Jeep Drive and Discover event. What a sight. Kauffman Stadium on a Wednesday night in the middle of June. And it seems like we've added about 5,000 or 7,000 fans since the second inning. And Alex going to hit that one to Independence. He hit that out of the ballpark. Alex Gordon just pulled that ball literally behind his back, and you can see where the fans are standing up against the fence. He hit it over the fence and out into the parking lot.
He's got pop. And you know, this time of night too, and even earlier in this game with the cloud cover overcast like this, it's really difficult for outfielders and infielders at times to keep their eye on that ball.
Into right center field, and that's down for a base hit. It's the third straight inning the Royals have had the leadoff man on. Alex is on for a second time, and now he has an 8-game hitting streak.
We saw that last night in Milwaukee. First 4 innings, leadoff runner on and batter on every single time. And, you know, good things happen when that happens. Now, look at that. That's an outside pitch. Alex knew that he just kind of had to guide that. He couldn't put his A swing on like he did before when he hit the ball out of the ballpark. Foul. So he just kind of finessed that ball in there. Nice swing. He's got that sliding wrist guard on his right hand.
Salvador Perez appeared to be a big out for Fiers back in the second inning. The Royals loaded the bases with nobody out, and then Fiers got Salvador to foul out to third. That was the first out of the inning. And then Alex Rios hit a sacrifice fly that scored Eric Hosmer for the second out. So it appeared that Fiers was going to get out of that, allowing just 1 run after the bases were loaded with 1 out. But Omar Infante with 2 strikes picked up an RBI with an infield single, and then Alcides Escobar drove in the 3rd run of the inning.
And that's another characteristic of the Royals that we saw in April, of a guy going, you know, if I can't do it, the next guy will. And we're seeing a lot of Royals hitters pick up the next guy. If he makes an out, hey, look, it's okay. It's not a one-man wrecking crew here. 9 guys that can be productive, and it's nice to see them starting to get the hits together. You see Salvador right there with his left pinky finger over the knob of the bat. That's a comfort thing. He's got 3 fingers on the bat is all, with his bottom hand. Pinky over the knob. Morales is another hitter that uses the pinky over the knob of the bat. It's a comfort thing.
Also makes the bat a little bit longer and kind of helps you fire the wrist better, doesn't it?
Right now, see how his hand, his bottom hand is almost off the bat.
So you could take a 34-inch bat and make it about 34.5 inches, 35 inches.
That's right.
Or at least appear to be that way.
It's balance and comfort. And you know, you've heard this one before, haven't you? Baseball's a game of inches.
Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Got him to chase a 72-mile-an-hour curveball. So Fiers, normally a big strikeout pitcher, only has 2 in 3+ innings. Extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball, but on one night they all happen in one place. Don't miss the '86 All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, Tuesday on July 14th on Fox.
Yeah, looks like to me the home of the Reds is going to be royal blue.
That was a good line. You come up with that on your own?
Never. Always have help.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike Trout and the Kansas City Royals.
All we got to do is talk Trout into wearing a royal blue hat.
And Ned Yost was asked today. There's a lot of discussion about the All-Star Game during his pregame press conference. Just kind of took on a life of its own. And somebody asked, have you thought about where you're going to bat Trout? Into center field. Parra is back, still back, and he makes a fine adjustment after misreading the fly ball. That ball carried on him. He almost played it into a double or a triple. He is a Gold Glove outfielder, Parra, and he makes a falling down catch to get Rios.
And listen to the Royals' applause as they appreciate a good play. That's not a good play. That's a great play. What an adjustment he made at the last minute. Hey, watch Alex Gordon. How he's reading. Look at the runner. Alex is going to read that. He's saying now he got turned around. He's not going to make that catch. Great adjustment at the last minute. Alex was already rounded around second base, and he had to make sure that he had to go back and retouch second base. Watch him here. A retouch second base on the way back. If you don't retouch, you can be called out. Great play. Love the Royals fans giving him applause for that. That's classy.
Good play is a good play.
Rios put a charge in it. Hit the ball 410 feet. Nothing but an out.
Close at first.
Mike Fiers has got quick feet. He likes to hold that ball when a runner's on. And then there's a variation there. He'll hold, and then sometimes when he comes set, he's quick.
Close. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See now, Infante, he's got his pinky above the knob, just barely, and it looks like he's using Salvador Perez's bat. The bats all come numbered.
That happens from time to time. A guy will, when he's slumping, use one of his teammates' bats.
Yeah. And if it gets him going, he'll continue to use it. And Salvi was using number 14. He's been using Infante's.
Fiers takes care of Infante. And the Royals are done in the bottom of the 4th inning. They have a 3-1 lead at Kauffman Stadium.
Last night, Chris Young with a couple of singles. 4 pitchers for the Royals have had homers in their career. Chris Young has had, but no one has been able to do what Joe Blanton has done. The only active pitcher with a postseason home run, and since 1970, Suppan, Wood, Sutcliffe, and Carlton are the most recent to have homered in the postseason. But Blanton's coming in Game 4, guys, of the World Series off of Edwin Jackson. That surprised a lot of guys in the clubhouse today who were, many of them, ready to crown Chris Young the hitting champion on this team. But Young, Volquez, Medlin, and Blanton have all homered at some point in their careers, so maybe some extra pinch hitters for Ned Yost. And I don't know if you guys heard it on the pregame show, but Chris Young said he didn't take one swing of batting practice leading up to last night, thought he'd have a better chance of getting hurt than actually improving his game. So didn't even think about it and ended up with the 2 hits.
Well, there you go. Some people can just roll out of bed and throw 7 scoreless innings and drive in 3 runs.
Yeah, no, he drove the bus literally last night. Now, Jason Vargas could be the best hitter out of all of them overall consistently. Vargas is a good hitter. He just spent most of his career in the American League, all of it. He doesn't get a chance to hit. We saw him in the postseason in Anaheim. Nez got him a few hitting pitchers out there. Nice to see. But you know, Chris Young, I listened to the interview, Joel, that you had with Young right before we came on the air tonight. And what a humble guy. You know, you tried to give him some love, talking about the good hitting that he threw. We see this changeup here. It's going to get the job done. And you know, Young was quick to point out that doesn't happen if our base runners don't advance and they don't move to second and to third. That doesn't happen. So he quickly deflected the praise that Joe was giving him right back to his teammates. That'll tell you how humble he is. What a guy.
Escobar gets Segura 2 down, and now Blanton 1 out away from giving the Royals 5 innings in a fill-in start. "65 pitches for Blanton." And you thought 70 to 75?
75 to 80. Depending on how the game is going, is what Mr. Island told me before the game.
Shane Peterson takes ball 1. He hasn't had a 20-pitch inning. He's been very pitch efficient.
You know, Ryan, you watch Escobar and you really appreciate him when you see him every single day. Now, he'll make dazzling plays. We've all seen it. But how about the routine play? His arm strength is amazing. Segura runs well. Look at him charge it. Now watch him get on top with his throw. Man, he's got a cannon. I bet he could be a pitcher. We're talking about Royals pitchers who could hit. I bet Escobar, you put him on that bump, and he's got a good changeup he throws during before they go on the field during batting practice. And he throws his changeup a lot. He's got some good stuff.
And now to the middle, just underneath his glove, and Esky punches his glove in frustration. That would have been a great play. Esky felt like he should have made it.
Playing to him a slight pull, but that ball was topped and had some topspin on it, so it's going to get through that infield quickly.
Yeah, it's a tough play.
Yeah, it's got topspin. See how that ball's moving? And it hits and it picks up speed even.
So the Brewers begin their 3rd time through the order. Parra is 0 for 2. Just made a nice play in center field in the bottom of the 4th inning on a drive from Rios.
Now, that's one of the most athletic plays I've seen this year. Even though we're privy to see a lot of the great plays the Royals defense makes, but the adjustment that Parra made at the last minute when that ball was about ready to land was just really athletic.
Parra won 2 Gold Gloves playing for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Here's our AT&T UVerse rewind. One of the greatest catches in the history of the game.
Boy, this one wasn't too shabby either. Look at that effort. It's all here at the K. Watch this. Now watch him at the last minute. Now he misjudges it, but look at the concentration of picking up that baseball and staying with it.
Infante down to a knee, and that's the inning. Joe Blanton goes 5 innings and gives up 1 run.
It's a veteran pitcher mixing his pitches and throwing a heck of a game.
Still 3-1 Royals, thanks to a 3-run bottom of the second and the pitching of Joe Blanton, who goes 5 innings and holds Milwaukee to 1 run, 5 hits. Tomorrow, the greatest golfers in the world converge on the Pacific Northwest as our coverage of the 115th U.S. Open Championship live from Chambers Bay Golf Course begins. And it will begin at 11 a.m. on Fox Sports 1 and continues in prime time at 7 p.m. on your local Fox station. And it's all streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Braun makes a play out in right field as Escobar once again hits the ball hard to right field. That's a good sign for him and the Royals. Mike Fiers is coming up on 70 pitches.
Joe Blanton, I just loved how he mixed his pitches. First pitch changeups, had him guessing. Had him, but he was all right around the lower part of the strike zone.
Started the year in Omaha, did not pitch at all last year. Starts out of the bullpen for the Royals, oftentimes in just mop-up situations to begin this year, and now with 2 starters on the disabled list, he goes 5 innings, gives up just 1 run.
Before Blanton retired, he was with the Angels. He was 2-14 with a 6 ERA, and he wasn't having any fun, and he said it's time to take it to the house. Remember when he pitched with the Angels then, Ryan?
Yep.
A little bit heavier, had good power fastball, but he's in the best shape of his life now. I asked him what was the difference. He says, well, I had plenty of time to get myself ready. My arm in shape, my body in shape, and I may not have the same fastball when I was 10 pounds heavier, but now I have more stamina.
Up the middle, into center field. So another hit for Mike Moustakas. We're just in the middle of June, and Mike Moustakas is just 15 hits shy of his total from all of last year.
Can you believe it? Now look at this, ball's out of the middle. He's going to make contact with that, but see how he hits the top half of the ball. The top half on a ball at the middle is perfect because it has the top spin, and as an infielder, You know the difference in the spin. If a guy hits one to you with some backspin on it, ball's going to back up a little bit. But when it's going over the top, you're going to get that ball through the infield. And look at the spray chart on Moose. Boy, he's a well-rounded hitter.
And some people who get all caught up in power and slugging percentage may have been frustrated because a lot of Moustakas hits this year have been singles, but he proved last night in Milwaukee that he can still put a charge into one, hitting it off the facing of the second deck in right field.
Oh, that ball was out in 3 seconds. He turned on it. It is good to see. Because you know there's a term that goes in the game, Rhino, punch and Judy. And then that refers to a hitter who gets a lot of bleeders, a doinker here, you know, hits the ball to the opposite field. But Moose, with all the hits he's been getting, he's not a Judy hitter. He can still leave the yard. He's got good power.
Here are the players to watch on DraftKings.com. Just enter the promo code BRoyal to play fantasy baseball for free. Lorenzo Cain among the players to watch tonight. He is lined to center and walked against Mike Fiers.
And he's had a couple of good rips in this at bat here.
That fades inside. 2-2 on Cain.
Cain walked for the 14th time in his last at bat.
And down he goes after fouling the ball off of his foot. Lorenzo has had a rough last couple of days. No, he hit it on the inside of his knee. That play that he made on Lucroy in Milwaukee last night, he hit that corner in right center field with the small of his back.
That's one of the worst places a hitter can foul a ball off. Just right below the knee. Now the kneecap is the worst, but show you that play you're talking about, Ryan, last night. Good concentration, saved 2 runs. If that ball falls off the wall there, they'd have scored 2. And it kind of tweaked his back a little bit, but
you notice there was no give on the wall where he hit it there. I mean, that was right in a corner where it's all steel support.
Three solid, good, aggressive swings in this at bat. He's close. And he is real close at hitting a jolt.
Ball's got to straighten up, which it will do in the left field corner. It is foul. Now some of the fans in the left field corner reacted as if it was a fair ball. The Royals are not running to the phone in the first base dugout. They have a clear line looking up the third base and left field line, so they're on the same page as third base umpire Chris Guccione.
Third time through the order, the slow boy curveball can be hit now. This is when the guys have already seen it a few times, and it's really hard to see where that baby came by. Well, Lorenzo Cain got a little body language, and the fans, they're all trying to stay fair. Moose, he was already trotting the bases. He thought it was fair.
Timeout had been called. Well, now I say the Royals didn't run to the phone. I meant Don Wakamatsu, Alex Gordon. He said, no, it's foul.
These guys, they have a blast. They're having fun. And of course, when you win, it makes it even better.
Still 2-2.
It's kind of at bat right here that can really get you locked in. Now Lorenzo's been swinging a good bat, hot bat. But you can tell he is on every one of Fire's pitches here. Doesn't matter what he throws. If it's out over the zone with 2 strikes, he's protecting. But he's not protecting with a Punch and Judy type swing. He is looking to hit one to Madsen, who's warming up in that bullpen. And he is just missing.
He homered last night and the night before that in Milwaukee. Just foul again.
You know, at some point you would think Fires and Lucroy would figure out, let's throw one in the dirt here. Let's throw one way out of the zone. He's in swing mode right now. Let's see if we can get him to swing at a bad pitch. You got a guy like that, he's been taking, that's 5, 6 great swings he's put on this guy in this at bat.
That was an interesting sequence. That ball's fair. That ball is deep, and it is down. Moustakis will score. Kane goes to third, and the Royals lead 4-1 in the 5th inning.
Not surprised at all. I can't believe they kept throwing him cookies that he could hit. Second triple on the year, Lorenzo Kane. That's one of the best at-bats that I've seen from him all year. Look at that. I mean, he is locked in. The ones that he was hitting foul were just missing. There he's got that extreme lean back. And all of those pitches, look at the grid here. The grid, oops, the grid is full of pitches. But that ball on contact, no one was going to glove it. 10 pitch at bat, 5 of those swings were just miss homers. So he settles for a triple. That'll bring the Brewers infielders in. And we saw what a drawn-in infield can do to give the hitter an advantage last night when Chris Young came up.
Well, I don't think it's ever been proven, but the old belief was that when you bring the infield in, you add 100 points to the hitter's average.
I can believe it.
Diminished range by the infield because they have less time to react.
And they're just counting on a routine ground ball. That's what they're doing. They're counting on a ground ball to get to these guys, and so they can try to get the runner out at home. But it opens everything up, just like you said. Haas being patient.
Three balls, no strikes. He singled leading off the 2nd inning. That started the 3-run 2nd. And then he flied to the warning track against Fiers in the 3rd. He was almost winding up like a pitcher as Fiers delivered that pitch. So if that was in his spot, he was going to get after it.
Love the 26th walk by Hosmer. Again, he's saying, look, if you're not going to pitch to me, you got to pitch to the next guy. And that's what Morales has done in Ned's lineup. He's given Hosmer protection behind him, a switch hitting power guy. So Hosmer's getting more walks this year because he knows that the guy next in back of me can do the job.
Rick Kranitz out for a second chat with Fiers tonight. Tomorrow it's the final game between the Royals and the Brewers, and MLB returns to Fox Sports 1. So we'll be on Fox Sports 1 tomorrow. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And you heard from one of the announcers earlier tonight as Jeremy Guthrie will pitch against Jimmy Nelson. Brian Anderson, who is the Brewers regular television announcer, does a lot of work on TBS. If you're a college basketball fan, you heard him on CBS during March Madness. And he'll be calling the game tomorrow with Eric Karros on Fox Sports 1. That ball's going to get through. Kane scores. It's 5-1, and Hosmer goes to third. So Morales is back in the starting lineup after 4 straight National League games, and he's 2 for 2 tonight, 2 for 3 with a run scored and now an RBI.
Now he'll tell you, I didn't really get this ball very well, but it's not how hard you hit him, it's where you hit him. Lynn just out of his reach. Both Brewers diving for that ball, trying to help Mike Fiers stay in this game. But we're witnessing some more Royals frenzy hitting. Let's keep the line moving.
Alex didn't mean to. That leads the Royals 42 RBIs. And now Alex, who has already extended his hitting streak to 8 games, has Hosmer at third base with 1 out. And took a fastball that didn't hit the target but was still in the strike zone, and it's 0-2. Alex stays back and gets it into center field. That's good for another run. Parra brings it down. Hosmer comes down the line. It's 6-1. The Royals have a pair of 3-run innings tonight.
You said it, Ryan. Great job of waiting back and waiting on that slow curve. But like I mentioned, the third time through, you got a guy like Fiers who throws that big slow curve first time, second time, third time through. That's part of his arsenal. They can catch it. That's what they're doing.
And now suddenly the Royals have scored 6 or more runs in 3 consecutive games. Salvi had a good swing. No balls and 1 strike. Royals, we talked about this at the top of the broadcast, that they had a big game against the Cubs. That Friday afternoon game, they scored 8 runs. Maybe that was the game to get the Royals going offensively. It didn't work out that way. A week ago tonight, they scored 7 runs in Minnesota, but then struggled to pile up the runs in St. Louis. And now 3 straight games with 6 or more runs.
Got to believe this is the real Royals offense. Now they went down for a couple of weeks, you know, they are really showing it. How about the beautiful sky here in Kansas City? Great sunset we're seeing. Go along with the full stadium. Love it. Oh,
that slow boy almost got Salvi on the helmet.
yeah.
And that is the 3rd wild pitch for Fiers. Now that was unintentional. The ball got away from him, but remember, it was Fiers who became a national name for the wrong reasons. He was the one that drilled Giancarlo Stanton on the left side of the face last year, which wiped out the rest of his season. And Stanton still wears the guard every now and then, even though he's leading the National League in home runs. That was Mike Fiers.
Well, you know, he's leaving a lot of pitches out over the middle, and we said that in our scouting report early in this game. He's going to leave some pitches up. You just got to try to get them, but you know, he's trying to invent ways to get these guys out, but they're just not an easy out in the lineup.
Look at that. 3 very efficient innings and 2 very long innings. Braun coming up in right field. That's the inning. The Royals get 3 in the second, 3 more here in the bottom of the 5th. Ryan Madsen will come into the game, and he'll be pitching with a 5-run lead. Beautiful night. Gorgeous sky, big crowd. Royals lead 6-1 as we go to the top of the 6th inning and welcome in Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Now, just going over how much the Royals have done offensively in the last 3 games, all against the Brewers. They've scored 6 or more runs, but let's not overlook the pitching. The starters have had a 1.5 ERA in the last 3 games.
Yeah, I think that's the thing a lot of people really overlook. And for an extended period of time now, the starting pitching has been very good. We didn't see that consistency early in the year, but we're starting to see it now.
And Joe Blanton, who started the year in Omaha, didn't pitch at all in the big leagues last year. In a fill-in start, gives up just 1 run, 5 hits in 5 innings.
Yeah, he was on his game tonight. It was going to be interesting to see how long he was able to go, but 5 innings out of a guy that's making his first start of the season in almost an emergency type start. It's great to see for Joe Blanton.
And now Ryan Madsen is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Nice big hop for Escobar, and Lucroy is out, number 1. All right, Monty, you're talking about Blanton. Let's take a look at our sprint cuts of the game. There weren't many good ones for the Brewers against Blanton.
Well, what I like about Blanton, he had everything working down. A lot of late life on his pitches. He was able to get a lot of ground ball outs. 8 ground ball outs as opposed to only 1 fly ball out. And when you're doing that as a pitcher, good things are going to happen. But you have to have that finish on your pitches, and we saw that from Joe Blanton in his 5 innings tonight.
Using that defense, keeping the ball below the knees. That all works. Don't have to have a power fastball, do you?
And I asked Dave Island today, what's different between Joe Blanton tonight versus 2013 when he made his last start? He said everything is moving down now. His sinker's down, his changeup's down, his curveball's got good downward life, and as a result, we're seeing the ground ball action.
That'll be out of play. He's still young enough. Blanton's 34, so he could afford to be away from the game for 1 year, and I'm not sure how much baseball he watched, but able to come back. Hud mentioned a couple of innings ago that the game wasn't fun for him a couple of years ago. Just clear his mind, and so I don't know how much baseball he watched on television or in person. 1 and 2 on Braun, but I always find it interesting when a player goes on the disabled list. That's not where they want to be, but just watching the game for a while, you know, absorbing the game that way really seems to help when they get back out there.
Well, and I think the fact that he had that time off for his body to almost, replenish itself. He comes back and strong and he's healthy. It's great to see.
Kane will take care of Ryan Braun. 2 down against Madsen in the 6th inning.
Talk about Bland tonight. You got Ryan Madsen here, last night's starter. Chris Young. None of the 3 of those guys were even on the Royals 40-man roster when they started spring training camp.
And I'll add Franklin Morales. I mean,
and I'll add Chris Medlin.
Yeah, who's apparently throwing the ball great.
Another changeup expert. Boy, that can be the most devastating pitch to a hitter, especially if you have anything 90 or 91. And you got a great changeup, just like Madsen here. Madsen's changeup. You're going to have some success.
Got to like the equalizer.
Yeah, and then another starter. I mean, I've heard different teams that we played talk about the fact that guys have Chris Medlin too.
Had a chance to watch his one of his simulated games here, and all 3 of his pitches, his fastball, great live, his curveball has that hammer curveball, and then the excellent changeup. So he has a tremendous variety of pitches. And so if he's going to be able to return and be anywhere close to what he was health-wise, should be a great addition for the Royals in the second half as well.
Little bit high to Adam Lind.
Another good arm down there too is Zimmer, their former #1 pick. He's dealing. He had a good outing, his last outing. He's coming. He's got ace stuff, doesn't he, Mike?
I've not heard anyone said anything but the fact that he is a top of the rotation guy.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I've never seen him pitch in a game, but I saw him playing long toss back in the winter. We were out for Royals alumni fantasy camp, and the guy just playing long toss. You can tell there's something special there, the way the ball comes out of his hand.
Kyle Zimmer, can't wait to see him.
Earlier tonight, Joel visited with Ash Russell, Royals first-round pick. They signed him today. Moustakas over on the right side of second base, handles a tricky hop, and Madsen picks up where Blanton left off and gets the Brewers quickly in the 6th inning.
Turn that ball into a marshmallow.
Follow live Royals baseball with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Royals all season and into the postseason wherever you are with the MLB.TV Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking, videos, and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Jessica McPhee from Raytown. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Jessica wins $1,700. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jessica wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Alex Rios swinging at the first pitch from Neil Kotz, who wanted to handle that pop-up, but of course that is a federal offense if a pitcher catches a pop-up. Does that offend you, Monty? Did you ever have a pop-up like, I mean, you could have caught it barehanded and someone came screaming over from third or first to call you off?
I remember distinctly one bunt that was popped up. I had it almost in my glove, and Mike McFarland comes over. He just leveled me. He made the play, but
not Mac. He wouldn't do something like that. Oh boy. Omar Infante. He has an RBI, 1 for 2. I wonder if he's still using a Salvador Perez bat. Looks like a different bat now. We had mentioned when he hit in the 4th inning. Now he's got Alcides Escobar's bat. So whatever bat works. It reminds me of a story. Mike Sweeney had a bat that he shared with Manny Ramirez very early in Mike Sweeney's career. I guess Manny Ramirez was famous for wanting to try other hitters' bats. Parra makes a play in center field. So it was 1998. Manny Ramirez got a hold of one of Michael's bats. He liked it, so he ordered it for himself. And he told Sweeney, and Sweeney said, well, while we're at it, I mean, Manny Ramirez is one of the best hitters in baseball. Can I try one of your bats? And he liked it. So he ordered Manny Ramirez's bat. So Ramirez was hitting with Sweeney's bat. Sweeney was hitting with Ramirez's bat. And in 2002, Manny Ramirez won the batting title over Mike Sweeney by 9 points, and they were using each other's bats.
Oh, great story.
But that's almost like a pitcher playing catch in the outfield. They're kind of trading grips, right? Well, how do you throw your changeup? How do you throw your slider?
all the time.
Every now and then a hitter, maybe even a slump, will say, well, these bats aren't working. How about your bat? Your bats seem to have some magic in them.
Neil Kotz, fastball, slider. Occasional changeups to righties. 88-92. Another thing too, Monty, you know, the weather's perfect hitting weather. The humidity's back. It has a summer feel. It just seems like, you know, the ball carries in this weather.
A lot like the weather we experienced for the most part the entire month of April.
Right. It was unseasonably warm.
Segura backhands, winds up, not in time. Second hit for Alcides Escobar. Well, Craig Counsell, he needs to be out of the dugout in the first 30 seconds. Ooh. And I think the umpires are understanding that maybe he doesn't know the process yet, but manager is supposed to immediately come out of the dugout. But maybe Jeff Nelson, the first base umpire who made the call, he's the crew chief, had a feeling they may challenge because they allowed him a little extra time to come out of the dugout, and at least from that first angle, Escobar appeared to be out.
When he hit the ball in the hole, I didn't really think Segura had a chance to make a play on him, but he exhibits an Escobar-like cannon. May have gotten him.
Pop. Here's a better look. When does it hit the back of the glove? Right there. I think he got him.
I think so.
But this year, you never know.
The Brewers feel pretty confident. They're heading towards the dugout. That's another good thing about the replay is they show the play again on the board. Before the replay came in, you could never show the umpire up by showing the replay. Now fans get to all see it.
Here come the headsets, and Escobar is out. So it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 6th inning for Neil Kotz, and Escobar with a smile on his face loses a hit.
Around the league, Detroit right now 3-2. It's Price and Cueto in that one. Chicago blasting Cleveland. How about the Cubs in that one? Pittsburgh 3-2 over the White Sox as their shutout streak finally ended at 35 straight innings pitched for Pittsburgh, and St. Louis right now trailing Minnesota. Our Mazda game break takes us to Cincinnati. Cueto, Cabrera, advantage Cabrera as Miguel goes deep. The home run for him. We'll keep you updated on that one. And guys, you see Brandon Finnegan on the hill, a true sign that, you know, the draft picks, they're awfully young now. Ash Russell telling me one of his favorite players, a guy he looks up to, Brandon Finnegan.
Well, why not? Brandon Finnegan was the first-round pick last year and ended up pitching in the World Series. Did you see where that ball landed from Miguel Cabrera? That was halfway up into the seats in right field.
I think hitters like that ballpark.
Man.
Launching pad.
Joe Lavero, our producer, our beloved producer, was not on the last road trip, so that gave him some time to kind of clear his mind and think of some clever things to say. He said the home run hitting contest during the All-Star break might be an all-night affair. Cue Lionel Richie. It takes me back a few years. All night long. And I realize that there is a large portion of our loyal viewing audience that is thinking to themselves, who's Lionel Richie? Carlos Gomez has been wailing away tonight at the plate. This time his helmet stays on his head. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We didn't see him in Milwaukee. He's their regular center fielder. He's been bothered by a hip flexor strain, so back to the lineup tonight with our rules and the designated hitter, so he doesn't have to play defense.
He's taking some mighty rips. Finnegan, fastball, slider, occasional changeup. He'll go low to mid 90s. Got that little flamingo leg kick. Ball got deep on him. Finnegan beat him on that pitch. 3-2 hitters expecting the fastball, Monty. Bring it.
Well hit to right field. Ball carries, but Rios is there. Now he had to make an adjustment similar to the one that Parra made a few innings ago, and takes care of Gomez.
Nice. Go ahead.
Another good rip, Monty.
Yeah, nice to see Finnegan challenge Gomez here. 6-1 ball game. You don't want to give him any free passes. Make him hit it.
Exactly. Oh, I'm happy to see the kid challenge him. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but when you have a defense like that, you'll take it.
So one down to Aramis Ramirez. This is the third time that Finnegan has been with the Royals this year. The original plan was for Finnegan to begin the season in the minor leagues so that he could stretch out to be a starter, which he was in college. The Royals drafted him as a starter. Two and two.
With Finnegan getting his opportunity to come up last year, pitching some really big situations, he did what a lot of guys struggle to do during the early part of their career, and that's establish the fact that they can pitch under pressure, big situations in the major leagues, and that's really part of one of the most difficult parts of establishing yourself as a major leaguer, and that's one reason he's been back 3 times this year.
He's got the stuff. There's no question about that. And also, he's very tough-minded. But after that appearance he made in early April, when he gave up a home run in Cleveland, that was his first time since the World Series. And after the game, he told the reporters he was nervous. And all last season, he wasn't nervous at all because he was just in the moment. He was like, College World Series, Big League World Series, and then he had all winter to let it sink in and to really realize what he accomplished and how tough this game really is, and he got nervous.
Absolutely.
This is a tough league.
And Fonte throws out Jeanette. 3 up, 3 down against Finnegan. Jack in the Box and the new black pepper cheeseburger today only at Jack in the Box. By your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Beautiful night here and at Union Station. Neil Kotz stays on for the bottom of the 7th inning. Nobody warming up behind him, so he'll get Moustakas, Kane, and Hosmer. Mike Moustakas is 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. Batting at .326, which is 4th in the American League.
Slider pulled off of it. Moose hitting .289 against lefties. He is really keeping that front shoulder in on the southpaws. They all try to hook you away. Get you to pull that shoulder out, and you pop it up.
He's going to end up with more hits before the All-Star break than he did all of last season.
Sure has been a great story for this team and for Mike Moustakas.
Yes, and I'm not surprised as hard as he's worked, you know, and he's suffered through a lot of failure his first few years in the big leagues. You can overcome that with hard work and determination and not giving up.
Jeanette throws out Moustakas. He's 1 for 4.
Would love to know if there's a way to determine exactly how important last October was to his success this year.
Now Lorenzo Cain back in the 5th inning. He turned in our Chrysler drive of the game. Long at bat, Hud. And it resulted in an RBI triple.
Lucky that didn't go over the fence for a 2-run homer. But that was one heck of an at-bat. He had several pitches that he just missed on, including that long foul ball that just went foul. Gotta love the signs. Folks here in Kansas City are really clever, getting behind their team.
He has hit in 8 straight. His only out tonight was a line out to center field, and now he lines to left, and that'll be good for extra bases. Boy, you talk about rubbing it in. Milwaukee Brewers have had to watch their original property just whack the ball all over the ballpark in the 3 games of the Brewers.
Well, everyone understands that do understand trades. Realize when you go for the big guy, the big daddy, you're going to give up some prospects when you just never know what those prospects can become. And that's the Brewers case. They weren't sure exactly what Lorenzo Cain and Escobar had in their future, and they were willing to leverage it.
Rolled the dice. They knew they were getting a top-notch pitcher in Greinke, but the Royals did a great job in scouting the guys they got in return.
And in defense of the Brewers, Greinke did help them get to the National League Championship Series. They were beaten by the Cardinals, and the Cardinals went on to win the World Series in 2011. So Greinke, while it wasn't for a very long period of time, he helped Milwaukee.
Just like the trade that Dayton Moore made with Will Myers and James Shields, and got Wade Davis in the deal.
Yeah, how long until we start referring to that as the Will Myers Wade Davis trade?
Ah, there you go.
Will Myers, by the way, as you know, is no longer with Tampa Bay. He's with San Diego. He's had a lot of wrist problems, and now it's announced today that he's going to have surgery on his wrist, and it'll put him out for a couple of months. General managers will tell you, and I think they're honest when they say this, that they really do hope that the trade works for both teams. It's not like, you know, the Royals were trying to pull one on the Rays or vice versa. I mean, they want to do business with the other 29 teams. And I think it's sometimes in a fan's mind, you know, they think maybe it's not a good trade if it's a wash. You know, if it works for both teams, or maybe if it doesn't work for either team. The goal is not to beat that team in a trade.
And that Myers trade for Wade Davis, I'll call it, so highly criticized when it happened. Everybody looking at Will Myers as a minor league player of the year, a guy that's going to be around for a dozen or more years in a Royals uniform, and suddenly they're going out to get a couple pitchers and didn't know if that was really what it was going to take to get the Royals where he needed to be as far as the postseason. Sure enough, it did.
But at that particular time, Alcides Escobar, you could knock the bat out of his hand. He was not the player then that he is now.
Right.
I mean, he was a skinny kid. He couldn't hit, didn't have any confidence.
Kane goes to third on the ground out by Eric Hosmer. Royals on a Wednesday night against a last place team in the middle of June attracted 33,420. They have surpassed 1 million in attendance, the fastest in team history, with an average of a little over 32,000 per game.
I think the amazing thing is they're doing it in a smaller stadium than they had back after winning the '85 World Series by about, what, 5,000?
That's right. Yeah, the renovation in 2009, they expanded some areas for better crowd flow, for lack of a better word, crowd accessibility, and yeah, they lost some seating. One and one on Kendrys Morales, back in the starting lineup for the first time in a week. Oh no, he started a game in St. Louis. I take that back, with Tyler Lyons pitching for the Cardinals. Ed Yost gave both Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas a game off, but really over the course of a week, Morales was in the starting lineup for just one game.
He just missed that last pitch, I can tell you that. You know, Monty, sometimes when you have a good rip on a good fastball, the minute you foul it off, you can smell the burning of the bat and the ball, the friction. He got him there. He elevated.
Royals are scoreless, having a lot of fun, and leading Milwaukee 6-1 to the 8th inning.
made it. Our Mazda game break takes us to Cleveland. Tough time for sports fans there. They saw their Cavs lose the NBA championship last night, and tonight this one looking more like a Browns-Bears game. 17 Cubs over the Indians. Anthony Rizzo homers off of Sean Markham. He would later homer a grand slam off of outfielder David Murphy. Guys, it was so bad for the Indians tonight that Ryan Rayburn and David Murphy, both outfielders, each ended up pitching. They gave up a combined 7 runs, and none of them were earned. So how about that? They didn't give up an earned run. And I'm sure you guys saw that Jeff Francoeur, our friend Frenchie, threw 2 innings and 48 pitches for Joe Lovero's Phillies last night.
Wow.
Struck out a guy.
Yeah, he did.
Nolan Reimold.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of position players get in there on blowouts. That can be good, but also for position players, you can also blow your arm out. So be careful.
Jose Canseco, right? Famous for having to have Tommy John surgery when he was overthrowing in a blowout game for the Texas Rangers. Gene Segura, Shane Peterson, and Gerardo Parra will face Morales in the 8th inning. Royals pitchers have knocked down 10 of the last 11 Brewers hitters. Morales reaches up and makes a nice play, and then a rainbow over to Hosmer for the out.
Morales, you know, he's been steady. I mean, you can use him anytime. He's going to give you some good quality innings, throw some strikes, especially, you know, when you use them once, maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week. They stay sharp. It's like a hitter. If a hitter sits all week and plays once a week, his timing's off. But Morales, good. Same thing they want to do with Holland. Get Holland back in there and get him throw a little bit more regularly, so the timing can be good. But he's got a good fastball and a nice slider that he uses out of that bullpen. And look at those numbers. Nice.
Against both sides.
Right.
Rios and Kane. Look out, and the ball is dropped. Peterson goes to third with 1 out. That's the second time in the past week where Kane and Rios have had a little trouble in right center field. The same thing happened in St. Louis, and Kane is going to be hit with an error.
Too bad. Kane's got to be a little more vocal. You got to really let him know. Now, Kane was playing to the opposite field, so he had a long run to go. You know, and Rios looked like he had a little better beat on it, but, you know, and at the last minute, Rios ducked away. That's all it can be. They're both calling for it. You can see them. Both of their mouths are moving, so that happens. Okay, that's not a careless error. That's just a natural error that happens when you have a tweener like that, and both outfielders are converging. Glad to hear they gave him a triple.
Yeah, they changed it from an air 8 to a triple.
That's the right call.
And Milwaukee will get its second run. Parra grounds out to Hosmer. That gets Peterson to the plate. And really a different version of that happened in St. Louis, where both guys just got too close to one another. And the player that was going to make the play in St. Louis, it was Rios. Tonight it was Kane. They just got too close to each other and got a bit tentative with the last step or so.
That's right. Thankfully, we haven't seen any collisions, though. Those are dangerous. But Lorenzo Cain was playing to the opposite field. He had a long run. You know, we know how much ground he can cover with those long strides.
Lucroy is 0 for 3. He had some good swings against the Royals in Milwaukee. Drove in a run in last night's game. He drove in 3 in the game on Monday.
He's a talented and confident hitter. He'll be fine. He'll at the end of the season, you look up, he'll have some good numbers. He just can hit. Very quiet at the plate, swings and strikes, uses the whole field.
Now 2-1. Jonathan Broxton, another former Royal. You see, they have Jonathan Broxton. They have Jeremy Jeffress and Will Smith, all former Royals. And Rios will make the play in right field. So the missed play cost Morales a run. To the bottom of the 8th, the Royals lead 6-2. Is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery, with producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman. The producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro, and good to be home and see the rest of our great Fox Sports Kansas City crew. Only home for 5, and then the Royals are back out on the road for 10. Jonathan Broxton, a one-time Royal. He pitched in 35 games in 2012 and saved 23. Alex Gordon has hit in 8 straight. He has a walk, a single, a sac fly, and a run scored.
The emergence of Greg Holland, a great arm that he has. They had Broxton. Figured it's time to let Holland take over as a closer. As Holland loosens up out there in the Royals pen.
Yeah, I remember that offseason, the Royals needed starting pitching, and they signed Jonathan Broxton, and there was some thought, well, are they considering making Joakim Soria a starter? That came up in conversation from time to time. Well, the timing ended up perfect because Soria had to have Tommy John surgery that year, and the Royals had Jonathan Broxton. And then he was traded to Cincinnati, and that was the official passing of the baton to Greg Holland, who talks very often about what he learned from Broxton and Soria sitting with them in the bullpen.
Broxton still has a good fastball, mid-90s. Slider to go with it.
It's like a trimmed down Jonathan Broxton, doesn't it?
It's like he's a little lighter.
Still 2-2. Best season for Broxton was 2009. He had 36 saves for the Dodgers. And his second highest total was the 23 he had for the Royals in 2012. And I remember he was in tears when he was traded to Cincinnati. He loved being here. And the Royals love having him here. He's a very popular teammate in the clubhouse.
Nice to see him still pitching so well. I mean, his ERA is a little high at this time of the year, but stuff looks good. Is that bringing back memories?
Yeah, it was Tim Collins and Everett Tieford, remember?
Yeah.
In spring training, and they got a hold of a pair of Jonathan Broxton's pants. Tieford got inside one leg, Collins got inside the other leg.
Ooh.
Curveball is inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Good take.
And I can't remember, and Dave Holtzman's looking it up, but Broxton got back at those 2 guys. Didn't he fill up their car with peanuts or something like that? Didn't one of them go to their car after spring training one day and he filled the car up with some kind of junk? Alex is on for the 3rd time tonight. Leadoff walk against Broxton.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how he got him back, but he did. But see, that was Broxton wasn't in the clubhouse when they did that. They just did it on their own, and they took a picture, and I think they tweeted it out or something to everybody. And it kind of embarrassed Broxton a little bit, but it was all in fun. Players do that kind of stuff. Gordon, another pair of walks tonight. That's 27 on the year for him.
Ramirez dives. He'll throw from his knees, and they get the out at second base. Good play by Aramis Ramirez. 1 down in the 8th inning. All right, I've got an answer. 2 unnamed members of the Royals are going to protect their identity. It was crickets. They filled up Everett Tieford's car with crickets. Well, Jonathan Broxton did. That was his way of.
Oh, that's even better. Live crickets.
Getting back. Yep.
Oh.
So thank you to my 2 secret agents who texted me. I knew he retaliated in some way. And I think those crickets were in there like for the rest of spring training, because crickets, I mean,
they climb into the smallest places.
Well, yeah, and I mean they make all the noise in the world until you're really close to them, and then they go stealth on you. Yeah, Broxton filled up Everett Tieford's truck with crickets.
Where are you going to get all those crickets in Surprise, Arizona? That's pretty clever.
That will be through, and Alex Rios has his first hit of the night. And the Royals have 10 hits tonight. Now let's see if the Royals can keep Omar Infante going. He is 6 for 11 against the Brewers. Down and in for ball one.
He knows how to get out of slumps. You just shorten up your swing. Go to the opposite field. Get you a couple of hits. Of course, those doinkers and infield hits really help you. And he's gotten a few of those in Milwaukee.
And get someone else's bat. What do we have now? 34. Who's number 34?
Don't see it on the roster.
Okay, so we have seen Infante with a number 13 bat. That would be Salvador Perez. A number 2 bat. That would be Alcides Escobar. Carlos Peguero was the last Royal to wear number 34.
Okay. Maybe Infante got a bat from the other side. Who's 34 on their team? They don't have a 34 either.
Paul Splittorff also wore number 34.
They're split.
So did Hector Wagner. You remember Hector Wagner?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that makes one of us.
No, I don't.
What do you remember about Hector Wagner?
I don't
Hud?
remember him.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Base hit right field. Omar Infante is 7 for 12 against the Brewers. And he has another multi-hit game, and the Royals have the bases loaded with one down.
Just like we talked about, going the other way with somebody else's bat. Stay hot. Little production down in those 8th and 9th holes mean a lot. He's getting on base for the top of the order. Look at that perfect swing. Look at him, Infante. He is not flailing and bailing now. He's just short to the ball. His head position is nice.
Hey, Hud, how about 7 for 12 since finding out he's leading the All-Star voting at second base?
Yeah, you know what? He's got pride. He's got pride in his game, and he's a lot better than offensively than he'd been showing. I couldn't believe that it took him so long to make those adjustments, because he's a veteran guy. He's been through slumps before, but let's just show you how you get out of a slump. Okay, a nice stride. Wait until the ball traveled. Freeze it right there for me. Look at that head position. See, his head position on contact was right there. He wasn't pulling off, and that had been his problem. He'd been spinning on everything, pulling off balls.
Look out. Hope everybody's all right down there, and it appears that they are. In our lifetime, will we see netting extend beyond each dugout?
Yes.
In the major leagues?
Yes. They're trying to get it at least to the dugouts now.
Well hit into right center field, and Parra can't make the play.
Heskey's not stopping.
It is a 3-run triple for Alcides Escobar, and the Royals lead 9-2 in the 8th inning.
Parra, former Gold Glover, rarely misplays the ball, but he did there. He took the wrong route. He came in instead of going back. And Escobar stays hot. 3 ribbies. What a stroke. Right down the middle. Good head position. Drove that ball. Opposite field. Look at Parra. Now watch him, his route. Kind of took a bad angle there. But Escobar sees that. Look at him taking a peek. He's saying, I'm coming. He took a look at Jersley at third base. His coach saying, come on. Green light.
And more balanced offense. 2 nights ago in Milwaukee, 8 Royals had hits. Last night, 10 Royals had hits. Tonight, 8 Royals have hits, and 7 Royals have scored runs. Only Salvador Perez is without a hit, but Sal has scored a run and in this inning. And Moustakas is going to pick up an RBI. That is his 23rd. Alcides Escobar scores the 4th run of the inning. And it's a 10-2 KC lead.
Gotta love it. Hope it just keeps on coming. Guys are taking advantage of hunting their pitch and not missing it.
The Royals in Fox Sports Kansas City are offering a unique way for fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game here at Kauffman Stadium. It's the Forever Royal Fan Express. Fans in designated markets will have the opportunity to take a trip on that bus to the K. And next stop is St. Joe on the 20th. That's Saturday, right?
That's right.
Yep, Saturday the 20th.
Oh.
Royals.com/Fan Express for more information.
If I'm not mistaken, that's Moose bobblehead night.
So they got to make sure that that bus gets here early enough to get a Mike Moustakas bobblehead, which is one of the best and most unique bobbleheads I've seen, and one that speaks for itself. A moment, a play I don't think we'll ever forget from the 2014 postseason.
Nor will he.
No swing. Jeff Nelson is the crew chief and first base umpire. 2-2 on Kane. There you go, going over the railing of the third base dugout suite during the American League Championship Series. Caught by the fans.
Lifted back up over the rail.
And I remember Mike Moustakas said that night, and he also said it at Fan Fest, that it was very symbolic because the fans had been lifting him up all year through his struggles and continuing with the Moose chants every time he came to the plate and got a hit, every time he made a play on defense, and there they were to lift him up for one of the most memorable defensive plays in Royals history. Kane down to first. Lorenzo Cain is on base for the 4th time tonight.
Ball's up and in. Just misses him. Here's that bobblehead, folks. Get here early enough, you might get you one. Look at that shot. Moose making a grab and hanging on. Going head first down onto the cement concrete, but the fans caught him, lifted him up, loved on him.
So one former Royal is out, another former Royal is in. Lefty Will Smith with the Royals working on a 4-run 8th inning.
of 7 or more runs of offense for the Royals for the first time since 2012. We'll talk about that. Joe Blanton, huge as the starting pitcher. Reaction from Ned Yost, analysis from Jeff Montgomery, and much more. And now we see coming into the game former Royal Will Smith. Guys, wanted to share this one with you. We know he's a little quirky as a lefty. He sent a letter during spring training to the other Will Smith, the actor. Here's a little bit of it. Dear Will Smith, it's me, Will Smith, but you can call me Will. How are you? I'm well. Did you get my first 3 letters? I think the post office might be losing them because I haven't heard back. He went on to say we might become best friends. Here's some other things that we have in common. We're both tall, but I'm taller. We both look great in black suits. We both like to get jiggy with it. You were in Wild Wild West. I own a cowboy hat. He went on and on and on and said, I can't wait to meet you and become BFFs. Is it cool if I tell people we hang out all the time? If not, I'll stop.
Any response?
Not yet. Hoping to meet him when he goes to L.A.
Proving once again, Joel. Handwritten, too.
Gotta like that.
How do you not respond to a handwritten letter? With the Royals leading 10-2. And he's back there for Jason Frazier. Royals pitching has allowed 2 runs on only 6 hits in the first 8 innings. Beginning with Joe Blanton, who gave up just 1 run in 5 innings. Brian Madsen and Brandon Finnegan had scoreless innings. The Brewers got 1 run off of Franklin Morales. And now Jason Frazier with his 0.47 ERA.
Frazier been sharp as a razor lately. Look at those numbers. They look good. Strikeouts, good. Opponent's average, not doing much. Throws strikes. Good fastball is 90 to 92, maybe a 93. Good tight slider. Occasional split fingers.
This is Hernan Perez. He's going to bat for Ryan Braun. Hernan Perez. I don't know if you and Fizz talked about this in Milwaukee. Do you remember the significance of Hernan Perez?
Nope.
That'll be out of play. Would you like some hints?
Yeah, no, he got a pinch hit last night. But
he was playing for the Tigers last year. And he was in the Tiger dugout for a game here at Kauffman Stadium.
And you better just keep going. That is not triggering anything.
There was a close game, and the Royals missed a tag-up play, which was reviewed and went the Tigers' way. And when the game was over, Brad Ausmus and Omar Vizquel, their first base coach, credited Hernan Perez, who had just been called up from the minor leagues. He was the one that noticed it in the dugout and was screaming that they needed to review it. Everybody else in the dugout missed it.
Yeah, it's coming back now. It's a big play.
Royals have had 3 big innings tonight on offense. A 3-run second inning, and that was right after Milwaukee scored 1 run. Royals added 3 more in the 5th, and then 4 in the 8th. Alcides Escobar's had the biggest night. He has driven in 4 runs. Eric Hosmer has scored a couple of runs. And as Joel mentioned, it's the first time in 3 years, almost 3 years to the day, that the Royals have scored 7 or more runs in 3 consecutive games.
Gotta love it. We knew they were going to come around and they were going to start getting hot. But 41 hits in 3 games, man. Go ahead. Keep the line moving.
Two and 2 from Frazier to Perez. Right to Escobar. Close, but 1 out in the 9th inning. And now another pinch hitter. Tomorrow, remember, the game is not on Fox Sports Kansas City. It'll be on Fox Sports 1. Final game of the year between the Royals and the Brewers. Jeremy Guthrie will pitch for KC. And Jimmy Nelson will pitch for the Brewers. Brian Anderson, who's the Brewers TV announcer tonight, and Eric Karros will call that game tomorrow night on Fox Sports 1. This is Jason Rogers pinch hitting for Adam Lind. One ball, 1 strike.
Rogers is Council's go-to guy. This is his 28th opportunity to pinch hit. He's got 8 hits, 1 pinch hit home run.
Royals tonight made it official that they signed their first-round pick, Ash Russell. 5 years ago, the Brewers selected Jason Rogers in the 32nd round. Got to the big leagues. And there he is, the press conference with his blue shirt, blue bow tie with Lonnie Goldberg on the left, Dave Moore on the right.
Cool belt too. He's got a psychedelic colored belt. This kid's got some style. Like him. He's got a royal blue watch on. He is all decked.
By the way, Jason Frazier was a 33rd round pick. So you got a 33rd round guy pitching to a 32nd round guy.
Frazier, he's 10+ years in the big leagues. Solid. You just never know. It's all about timing and work habits, being in the right place, right time. Injuries. This is a tough business. But Frazier, you know what you're getting from him. He's a veteran guy. He's been a nice ad last season, and he'll tell you he had the time of his life with the Royals. He'd never been to a postseason. And they got him just in the nick of time. He is right where he wants to be.
Rogers will take a 1-out walk. And now Drew Butera will go out and have a little chat with Frazier. See Frazier's response. Yeah, I'm all right. Butera just wanted to check on him, maybe give him a little extra time to catch his breath on a humid night. And now Carlos Gomez, who's had a 2-hit game, swung the bat well. Double, single, fly out to deep right field. And twice tonight he has swung so hard that his helmet has come off his head.
Kind of reminds me a little bit with the helmet coming off Bartolo Colon.
Which is not a compliment to Carlos Gomez.
No, just from the helmet standpoint,
okay.
Not from the body.
One looks a little more athletic than the other with the helmet coming off the head.
Just slightly.
Entertaining even with a check swing.
No, he can definitely play. He's a hitter. He loves it. $33,420 here tonight. 62 walk-up tickets sold. 6,200 walk-up tickets sold. So fans who weren't otherwise planning on coming to the game tonight thought, you know what, the Royals are in town. They went 5-2 on a road trip. It's a nice night. Let's drive to the ballpark and buy our tickets there. 6,200 of those sold here tonight. We'll take you, fans. Don't stop. Keep coming. This is one of the most exciting teams in baseball, obviously. They got 8 All-Stars out there out of the 9. And a whole coaching staff full of Royals. Ned's staff. And not to mention Wade Davis, and I'm sure he'll add maybe somebody else. I mean, all we got to do is talk Trout into wearing a royal blue angel cap, and man, we'll be in.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, no, that won't happen.
You have to charter a plane to get everybody to Cincinnati.
I think they do. They have already done that. Our traveling secretary's already taken care of it.
Infante goes to the hole. 2 down in the 9th inning. Rogers goes to second base.
I don't know if you noticed tonight, right under the field is cut differently than we're used to seeing it. It's got nice lanes out there. You can see that. See the different cuts and everything. That's Trevor Vance. His ground crew did a nice job. He calls it the sunrise look. Nice job, fellas. It looks good. That's just kind of a spray chart of the Royals hitters.
I was going to say, with 12 hits tonight, they've hit just about every lane tonight.
Yeah, they have. Way to go. Good look, fellas.
Another pinch hitter. This is Hector Gomez batting for Aramis Ramirez. Ned Yost is 1 out away from tying Whitey Herzog for the most wins in franchise history. On Hector Gomez.
Salvador Perez sitting next to Ned Yost. He's not in there icing or taking an early shower. He's out there pulling for his guys. I like that.
Still 0-2. It used to be we would hear "Let's go Royals" here at Kauffman Stadium and nowhere else.
That's changed.
Now I can understand hearing it in Minnesota. And that's just right up I-35. Hearing it in St. Louis, just right down I-70. Maybe even in Dallas, but we've been hearing it in Milwaukee and Cleveland. And in the middle of the week, the Royals fans not just following the team on the road during the weekend in the summer, but in the middle of the week, and in the case of Cleveland, in the middle of the week at the end of April with school still in session, and hearing "Let's go Royals" with the Royals rallying against the Indians.
Last year in Colorado was unbelievable. That was big. Arlington, Texas. We took their fans out of the game. And in Milwaukee, the last 2 games, the Royals fans would get that chant going, and they would play music over the PA system to drown them out.
Well, the funny part for me is just to hear the fans trying to drown out the Royals with their chant. And, you know, there are people who have lived in Ohio for 70 years and have never said "Let's go Indians." You have to invent chants just to
can't hang with it. There's passion here.
Counter the Royals.
Yeah, love it. Passion.
Wrigley Field.
Oh, Wrigley.
When Alcides Escobar hit that home run on the first pitch of the game, I mean, it was stunning how the place erupted with the reaction of Royals fans.
Look at this guy. Drove 605 miles, 8 hours. Way to go, sir. Thank you for being here.
I think the back of that says he drove from North Dakota. Yep, and he's got a bison ski cap on. You might need that ski cap up in North Dakota, but I'll bet he's a little sweaty here tonight. The ball whistled over the head of third base coach Ed Cedar.
Now, Royals are no longer a secret to the fans and to their opponents, as was evident early in the season when the Royals had to literally defend their flag as teams were not happy. The Royals were coming out of nowhere and dominating baseball, and all those brushback pitches and all the taking out at second base, and you know, the Royals stood their ground. And look at them, they're still shining bright. Good, talented team.
Struck him out. So the biggest night belongs to Alcides Escobar with 4 RBIs, and handshakes for Ned Yost as he ties Whitey Herzog for the most wins in club history with 410. And wouldn't it be appropriate if he set the record tomorrow against the team he first managed for and the first major league team he played for, and he gets a big hug from Salvador Perez. So congratulations to Ned Yost.
Yes, I agree with you, and I think, you know, that's how baseball is sometimes. It just lines up perfectly. Hopefully they'll bring that same offense they did tonight. But how about Joe Blatt? Nice job, Joe. 5 strong innings, helping your team put that KCW on the star. Way to go. That's right. Way to go. Attaboy, Ned.
So Alcides Escobar drove in a run in the Royals' 3-run second inning, and he drove in 3 in the Royals' 4-run 8th. And he is standing by down in the field with Joel.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Joined right now by Alcides Escobar, and it has been a great series for Alcides and Lorenzo Cain, the former Brewers, 11 for 26 against your former team. What's been going right for you guys?
You know, that's really good to start the series like that. They won all 3 games right now, and just see the play and the home, just take Hay Copa Cup.
Good. All right. I figured it was coming at some point. That's good. I deserve it. All right, back to you. Let's talk a little bit about the offense, because a little over a week ago you told me you didn't think you were out of it yet. What's changed?
You know, more patience, man. That's the key right now. That's waiting for good pitcher and make a good swing.
There have been over 1 million fans, 1 million fans that have come here to Kauffman Stadium so far this year. Fastest that's ever happened. How great is that to hear these fans, not just at home, but on the road?
That's great. Every part of the team is good. The fan is good over there. And I want to say thank you to all fans here for the all support.
Alcides Escobar tying a career high with 4 RBIs tonight. Great job. By the way, thanks for letting me know he was coming.
Thank you.
All right, there's Alcides Escobar. I could hear the footsteps. It was worth it. Ryan, let's go back up to you.
Probably felt good on a humid night. A little quick with the release. Oh, man.
Nice.
Well, Esky got a couple of drops on him.